Hello. So my name is Lisa, and one of the many things that I do is I'm president of a local art association. And we have art shows at which we have art receptions. And we always serve a Chardonnay and a Cabernet at our art receptions, along with cheese and crackers and chips and veggies and that kind of stuff. So we want to serve things that are generally interesting. We don't want to serve anything too complicated that half the people would hate. We want to serve something that goes with most of the stuff that we are serving in terms of food. And we really like the box wines because these are super easy for people to be able to pour a glass of, to pour whatever size they want. They don't have to worry about holding a giant heavy bottle, and they're easy to recycle. So they are good for all sorts of different reasons for our art show receptions. So these just happen to be 3 of the brands that we had left over from a couple of recent art shows. So Haus, Black Box, and then Nighthawk Gold. So here I'll start with the Haus Chardonnay. So the description of it is apple, pear, oak, and vanilla. I think I get more of a sharper citrusy flavor in it, but let's say it's like a green apple. And there's a little hint of vanilla. If there's a pear in there, I would also say it's more like a green pear. So for me, it's not the mellowest of the 3, but it is still gentle. It's certainly not as sharp as some of the other kinds of white wines that are out there. So if you have people who tend to like sharper, brighter wines, then Haus might work well. Alright, so I'm going to try the Black Box. Black Box is an Australian wine. So the description of the Black Box is just fresh fruit and oak. So that's about as generic as one can get. Fresh fruit. What do I taste in there? Well, in this one I do actually get, let's say, some pear. It's a much softer feel. And the kinds of flavors are not as sharp as the Haus. It's a sweeter pear, we'll say. Maybe a hint of apple. So the same kinds of flavors as Haus, but a gentler version of them. Which, some people might like and some people might find boring. It also depends what kind of cheeses you're serving. If you're serving super sharp cheeses, you might do better with one or the other. So this is part of why it's good to test things out beforehand and see, if you know what kind of cheeses you're going to bring and so on, you can figure out which kind you would go well with. And also remember, a lot of people are just going to come and have a glass of wine and not eat anything at all, so you want to make sure the wine's going to taste good on its own. Alright, so definitely gentler than the Haus. So let's try the Nighthawk Gold, which is the 3rd one. The description on the Nighthawk Gold box says oak, butterscotch, and honey. This is a California Chardonnay. And then that's very different from both of the other 2. I would definitely go with the butterscotch and honey. So it's a sweeter wine, but it also has a bit of acidity to it. So it's not like cloyingly sweet like a plum wine or something like that. It is sweet-ish, but also has some nice balance to it. And it has a nice lingering flavor to it, which I think is where the butterscotch comes into me. So now my question is, does this have fresh fruit or apple or pear? No, I wouldn't say so. So, that's intriguing. It's more about the butterscotch and honey kinds of flavors, not necessarily as much about fruity kind of flavors. So they are all fairly different from each other, but certainly all still in the Chardonnay range. It's not like you're drinking a Cabernet or a Malbec or something like that. And they are all tasty in their own ways. And it could certainly be that on some days I'll really go for the black box because I want to have those kinds of flavors, especially, depending what I'm eating. And some days I'll go for the Nighthawk Gold. So it's not that any of these are bad flavors. They are just different flavors from each other. So let me know which ones you prefer, or if you're like me where you just like all of them and you'd be happy to switch back and forth between all of them. And let me know what other box wines I should try, because like I said, these are the go-to wines for all of our wine events, or not wine events, for our art show events. And it's good to have a selection of things. I've never heard feedback from people that like, oh, I don't like this box wine, we have to go back to that one you had the last show. People are just happy to drink whatever we put out, and they generally enjoy all of these. So they're all quite enjoyed by people, and they are all tasty. They just have some differences between them. Let me know if you have any questions.